What is up, everybody? It's your boy Choopy Choosy back in the clack with another extreme stream. Hey, listen, man. Choose Your Legends Banner 2 has officially dropped, and just like its great grandpepper Choose Your Legends 1, we get another skill that totally redefines the meta. Of course, you clicked on the thumbnail, you know what I'm talking about, that Special Fighter juice. Now, I'm no Dire Thunder, Deltran, or Sacred Spear. Please, Sacred Spear, return my messages. I just want to be your friend. We could be great together, Spear. But I am going to do my best to tell you what this skill is, why it's so amazing, how it changes the meta, and how you can utilize it to work for you. The in-game description of Special Fighter reads as follows. At start of combat, if unit's HP is greater than or equal to 50%, grants special cooldown charge of +1 to units in... this is too complicated. Listen, just forget all that garbage. You know, sometimes it feels like the description of these skills comes hot off the heels of the Google Translate search bar. Here's all you need to know. This is the same guard you know and love, except with a 50% HP threshold as opposed to 80. And on top of that, it gives you a breath effect, meaning blow for blow, you get that 2-point cooldown. It's not like Heavy or Flashing Blade, where you only get the cooldown on your attack. On top of that even, and here's the kicker that puts it on a whole other level, it activates on both phases. As long as you're above 50 HP, you are laying the ban hammer down on the enemy's special, all while making whatever you got up your sleeve be so big. So to identify how this skill will affect the meta and how we can use it, we need to look back to look forward, you dig? In my opinion, there were two skills that shifted everything when they came out. First, we have exactly 1 year ago the debut of Steady Breath. This skill alone shifted everyone's focus to enemy phase builds designed to take hits and charge crits. Player phase was practically non-existent for a few months, since you actually wanted to take as many hits as possible to charge your special. Units with low speed and high everything else benefited the most from this skill, and the only way to truly combat these units was to use the same bait and tank builds against them. The game literally became line up the colors and let the enemy walk into you, and I think IS was aware of that, which is why we were slowly introduced to more robust player phase tools as the year progressed. Things like Razzle Dazzle refines, Falchion refines, Murr, dagger units that were actually good, and of course, Bold Fighter. Bold Fighter shifted the meta once again, where now you couldn't just blindly Steady Breath cheese unless you think you can take a Black Luna or Gale Force to the dome. Nah, son. Player phase was back in the spotlight. Much like Steady Breath and enemy phase counters, the only way to combat an aggressive player phase unit is with an equally aggressive player phase counter. Now, what ties these two skills together is they actually collectively capped what I call the speed stat arms race. There's a reason why we don't see Carlos with 50 speed in the arena, because it's just stupid to have that much speed in a game where so many units just bypass the mechanic altogether. Especially when those points are being pulled away from other areas of your base stat total, where now you had units that have the exact opposite stat spreads that completely throw away their speed because they don't need it. And in return, their overall bulk benefits from this distribution. Now, if these skills didn't exist, then yeah, that'd be a different story. It'd be like mainline Fire Emblems, where speed is above and beyond the best stat in the game. Even with the bold decision to remove dodge mechanics in heroes, and essentially streamlining speed to strictly just be a doubling mechanic, without fighter and breath skills, speed would still be the best skill in the game. Mainly since it is the only stat that determines both your offensive and defensive spread. Now, August 2018, Special Fighter drops, and where the Breath and Bold Fighter skills cap the speed arms race by bypassing it, Special Fighter puts the speed stat back in the spotlight and actually caps the cap that capped that speed gap. Okay, follow me here, guys. Since Special Fighter doesn't change attack priority in any way like the other fighter skills, speed is now integral to getting the most out of this skill, which can be a lot to ask for since it's locked to characteristically slow armor units. However, once you do manage to get a build that fully utilizes the potential of its unique dual phase attribute, it outshines every meta-defining skill that preceded it. Now, first and foremost, obviously, there is Brave Ephraim, who can utilize this skill despite having poop tier speed because of his legendary Garm, which allows guaranteed follow-ups if he has visible map buffs or armor march. But this is an inheritable skill, and let's say you're like me and you don't like relying on visible map buffs, especially since Garm deactivates when those buffs are panicked. Or maybe you just plain old don't like Ephraim. What armors are the best candidates to inherit this skill? Sure, you can slap it on any slow bro with QR seal and call it a day, but why would you do that? Why wouldn't you just use Vengeful Fighter, you dingus? Remember guys, it's all about that dual phase potential. Speed is the name of the game, and unfortunately there are only a handful of units, mostly seasonal or locked to the 5-star pool, who are the best units to own house with this skill. The fastest armors in the game are Amelia, Halloween Henry, and Winter Robin, starting at a respectable 34 base speed, and also Zelgius as well with 33 base speed. With weapon refines and proper IVs, you can have a truly menacing scream factory that cancels out both the speed and special cooldown meta. Imagine a world where the cooldown timer is always on your side. Here is my Amelia build, plus speed minus res that you've seen throughout the duration of this video. All her skills synergize to keep her HP top so that Armor Boots, Panic Ploy, and our new friend, Special Fighter, stay active. But KWAZY, you're drinking the KWAZY juice again. I can't afford to plus 10 any of those guys. You think I'm made of orbs? Listen, I'm with you. I'm saving for that Jamka Grand Hero battle, and whatever banner he's tied to, I'm on that. So a couple of fellow Fae-famers in my Discord and I brainstormed some KWAZY budget death machines that can properly utilize this skill. Shout out to Queen Bitch Blues and Sasayaki for the help with these two. First up, we have the free-to-play champion who always has it his way. With this build, any unit that initiates on the BK that doesn't one-hit KO will be met with a timely demise, courtesy of an instant Black Luna to the dome. So while 35 speed might seem low at first, it doesn't really matter when the enemy can't even live long enough to double. After that initial round of combat, Speed Smoke will rain down on anyone watching in the queue. Paired with Swift Sparrow, this would grant the Knight of Dankness an effective 46 speed on his player phase. Coolio Dulio Mama Mama Mulio. Next build is one of my favorite characters in the franchise. It's Draug. Now, I know your teacher told you to stay off Draugs, but with 4-star availability and 32 base speed, this is one hit you're gonna want to take. With this build, it doesn't matter if he initiates, it doesn't matter if he's tanking. Unless the enemy is running guard or special fighter themselves, he will proc Ignis every round of combat, period. With 43 defense and Wu Dao, we are looking at a flat 43 damage with that proc. So you know his Ignis is being so big. So I just wanted to show you guys the potential of this skill. I think it's very nuanced, where I think it stands in the meta, and how you can use it. I know that every so often we get a unit or skill that comes out and everyone claims it's going to be broken or break the game entirely, and then 2 weeks go by and we never see or hear from it again. But I sincerely think that this skill is up there with the best of them. I feel like it's kind of being overshadowed right now because of the hype around Veronica's legendary weapon, Deathblow 4, and how initially it only seems to work well in Ephraim's kit. I myself was not really into any of the characters. I got a Veronica for my free, made this. 3 full summoning circles later, I got an Ephraim, and I'm so glad I did because I would have slept on this skill myself if it wasn't dropped on my lap. I do have a Halloween Henry, but I'm sort of happy with what I got going on right here. So, with that guys, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And until next time, y'all, stay frothy.